The hands on the wheel don't feel right. Not yet. Every muscle memory built over a lifetime of chasing apexes, late braking, and corner exit precision suddenly means nothing. The engine screams beneath a body that has spent years mastering turns most drivers never even attempt. One question loops on repeat, quiet but constant. What if I don't belong here? This isn't a road course. This is the one place they said he'd never survive. The driver is Shane Van Gisbergen. The place he feared is an oval, Richmond Raceway. For most of 2025, Van Gisbergen has carried a label everywhere he's gone, road course specialist. It's not an insult, it's a resume. He won 5 road course races in the Cup Series in 2025 alone, a number no other full-time driver in the field came close to matching, built off a driving style shaped by years in Australian supercars long before he ever turned a lap in NASCAR machinery. But that same resume became a cage. Every oval start was treated as a formality before the real racing began somewhere twisty. Richmond, a 3/4-mile short track known for tight physical racing rather than momentum-based cornering, was supposed to be the place that finally exposed the gap in his game. Instead, it became something else entirely. The qualifying session built like a countdown. Truck after truck rolled off pit road, each one chasing a clean lap on a track surface that punishes the smallest mistake in braking zones. Lap by lap, the times tightened, and the leaderboard kept shifting as the session wore on, with drivers who had spent years racing short tracks watching their times get erased one by one. Van Gisbergen's truck, the number 7 Spire Motorsports Chevrolet, kept climbing the sheet. Not second. Not third. Pole. His first career oval pole. His first Truck Series pole, period. And there's a layer underneath that stat that makes it heavier. This truck, the number 7, was originally lined up to be Kyle Busch's ride this season, before circumstances shifted it into Van Gisbergen's hands. A changing of the guard, playing out in real time on a short track in Virginia. The label that took months to attach just cracked in one qualifying lap. Before the truck race even went green, the reaction online had already started moving. Within minutes, a nickname was circulating: Shane Van Polsbergen, and it wasn't a joke anymore. Fans were already connecting the dots between this pole and his Cup Series trajectory, wondering out loud what it would mean if he carried that same form into the lead on a Sunday. Some pointed back to a near-stage win in Cup at North Wilkesboro, treating this Truck Series pole as further proof that his oval instincts were catching up to his road course talent. It felt less like a comment section and more like a live signal spreading in real time across the sport, one post building on the next within minutes of the announcement. And speaking of building something real, this channel, NASCAR Insider TV, is closing in on 1,500 subscribers, and stories like this one are exactly why it exists. If you want breakdowns that go past the box score and into what these moments actually mean for a driver's career and his team long after the checkered flag, subscribing helps make more of this coverage possible. Now, back to Richmond. Because the story was about to flip hard. The tone shifted in a single sentence. An uncontrolled tire penalty during a pit stop sent Van Gisbergen from the front of the field all the way back to 18th. Everything he had just proven in qualifying was suddenly at risk of being erased in the eyes of the doubters who were waiting for exactly this kind of collapse. Was the pole real, or was it about to become a footnote buried under a pit road mistake? What followed was a fight through the field. Lap after lap of ground, clawed back the hard way against trucks that had track position and clean air on their side, on a surface where passing costs tire life every single lap. Crew chief strategy kept him out longer than the leaders, banking on a caution brought out by Stuart Friesen to close the gap without burning extra pit stops. The gamble worked. Van Gisbergen climbed all the way back to second. Then the twist inside the twist. A rear tire changer lost footing on a stop. The truck dropped again, this time to 5th. In the closing laps, he scrambled back up to 4th, finishing behind Caden Honeycutt, who dominated the night by leading 225 laps of the race. Honeycutt isn't a footnote in this story. He's the reason it carries weight. Van Gisbergen didn't just survive a soft field on a lucky night. He clawed back through a truck race controlled from start to finish by one of the field's strongest drivers, on a track that gave nothing back for free. But Richmond wasn't just a Truck Series story that weekend. The same night carried the Cookout 400, the Cup Series race running on the same three-quarter-mile track, and it raised the stakes even higher. Van Gisbergen qualified 31st in Cup and fought his way up to 14th, helped by a smart wave-around strategy and a long green flag run that put him in position when Carson Hocevar's engine failed ahead of him. It was patience over raw speed, a strategy call that turned a mid-pack starting spot into a night that protected his points position rather than one built on pure straight-line pace, exactly the kind of disciplined, unglamorous racing an oval learning curve demands. After the race, he radioed his team directly, and the words were his own. "Awesome job, team. Good pit stops, good strategy, good points night. It's what we need." That finish matters beyond the points sheet. Van Gisbergen currently sits inside the Chase playoff cutoff line, which made this entire weekend must-hold points racing rather than a routine mid-season stop between road courses. A bad night at Richmond could have dropped him below the cutoff heading into the closing stretch of the regular season. With fewer and fewer races left to recover lost ground, and every oval on the remaining schedule now carrying extra weight because of exactly that math. Before the race, he had already been open about what needed to change, admitting he knew coming in that he had to get better at ovals, framing Richmond as the proving ground for that exact weakness. Afterward, he posted directly about the results on social media. 14th tonight at Richmond. Enjoyed that finding the high line was the best place for our car. None of this wraps up neatly, and it shouldn't. One weekend of oval results, even a pole and a top 5 recovery in trucks paired with a point-saving run in Cup, is evidence, not proof, no matter how convincing it looked under the lights at Richmond. NASCAR's perception of Van Gisbergen as a road course-only threat is under pressure, but it hasn't officially shifted, and one strong weekend at a single short track doesn't rewrite a season's worth of oval struggles on its own. The questions are stacking up faster than the answers. Is this the start of a real oval transformation, built lap by lap through better setups and sharper racecraft, or one spectacular outlier weekend that gets talked about for a week and then forgotten by the next short track stop on the schedule? In the background, a different kind of noise has started building. Chatter about what Van Gisbergen could do with stronger equipment, a more oval-focused crew chief, even speculation tying his name to bigger programs down the line, including talk connecting him to organizations with deeper short-track resources and stronger oval pedigrees than Spire currently carries in the truck garage. It's rumor, not confirmation, but it's spreading through the same channels the poll reaction did just hours earlier, gaining traction with every repost and every quote tweet adding another layer of speculation. And that's the part that makes this story impossible to close cleanly. Because once a driver proves the thing everyone said he couldn't do, nobody gets to underestimate him quietly again. If this kind of breakdown is the kind of NASCAR coverage you want more of, drop a comment with your take on whether this oval breakthrough is real or a one-off, and share this video with someone who's still sleeping on Van Gisbergen's Richmond weekend. Comments like that help this channel grow, and they help decide what story gets broken down next. If you enjoy real NASCAR breakdowns like this, you'll like what's coming next.